Hi, I'm Emily Robinson. Welcome to the Life After D podcast. My co-host Lenard Guzman is here, and we're here to talk about life after divorce, life during divorce, answer your questions, talk about the hottest celebrity divorces, and just keep you up to date with what is going on in the divorce world and give you hope that there is life after divorce. So we're excited to be here today.
Yes, it is August 26th, 2020. It's weird because we're in this place where the election's going on, or it's going to go on in 68, 69 days. They got the crazy RNC thing going. So it's like people are kind of waiting, I guess. I don't know how that affects divorce. I know it affects the economy. So let's get to it. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You had
I was just going
to say.
I think the only effect right now is just people's nerves. You know, people are nervous. The future's so uncertain with the elections and COVID, and I think people just want 2020 to go away. But it hasn't actually really affected the divorce cases. But we will see what happens after the election.
Okay, well, in the meantime, let's go over some news. This portion of the pod, we go over some news, divorce news. A lot of times it's celebrity news. So today, it looks like Halle Berry files to represent herself in divorce with Oliver Martinez. The former couple's divorce was supposed to be finalized in December 2016.
Whoa.
Man, this is crazy. I saw her in, I think, John Wick. I don't know if you're a John Wick fan.
Yeah.
So she was in that one. She kicked butt. Let's see. Let's get into this. Halle Berry has moved to represent herself in her divorce proceedings with ex Oliver Martinez, according to new report. The Monster Ball star filed to represent herself instead of an attorney, according to Entertainment Tonight, citing court documents obtained Tuesday. Barry's former lawyer, Marina. Oh man, this is putting the divorce attorney on some publication, some public spotlight here.
That happens.
Marina Zakian Beck signed off on the change on July 30th, with the 54-year-old signing off on August 11th, reports the outlet. Here we go. Quote, "It is with a heavy heart that we have come to the decision to divorce." They said, we move forward with love and respect for one another and the shared focus for what is best for our son. We wish each other nothing but happiness in life, and we hope that you respect our, and most importantly, our child's privacy as we go through this difficult period. And this quote was 2015. So,
wow.
How does it work? How does this work when you represent yourself? Break it down for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of strange for her to represent herself as a celebrity because she can afford an attorney. But in the Los Angeles area, probably about 80% of people represent themselves because they can't afford an attorney. And so if you're representing yourself, you're still required to figure out all the correct papers to file, all the correct steps to take. Courts may be a little more lenient sometimes if you're representing yourself because they know you don't know all the rules. But on the other hand, you are held to the same standards technically as an attorney. So you're supposed to know what to do, and you're not going to be able to just say, "Oh, I didn't know, Judge, sorry." You have to figure out what paperwork to do on your own. So it can be a challenge. So not sure why she's doing that. It's interesting.
Maybe she was like, "Hey, I can just save money." I don't know. Maybe she's trying something different and she's bored. She has a lot of time on her hands. I don't know.
Or maybe they agree on everything, so it's supposed to be easy. Who knows?
All right, next one. Oh, this is kind of weird. Kristen Cavallari. This is the Hills show. just got herself a breakup divorce tattoo. I don't know if this has anything to do with divorce court, but it's like a butterfly. So do people do this stuff? Like maybe it's like a sign of, hey, I'm the symbol of like moving on.
That does happen a lot. There's, the divorce piercing, the divorce tattoo, the divorce haircut. It's a change in your life, and a big change. And a lot of people want to kind of have something to commemorate that, or do something different to be able to represent that they're starting a new life. So I think that's actually pretty common. Tattoos are a big one.
Well, on that same note, this show, it's Selling Sunset. I guess standing up for a friend, Selling Sunset's Mary Fitzgerald, and this ad came up, came to the defense of Chriselle Strauss following Christine Quinn's calling her a victim. What it had to do with, she joked that she got to her goal weight after divorce. So kind of the same thing. They're trying to have a healthier lifestyle, kind of starting over.
There's a lot of like, the divorce diet, starting all over. There's also a lot of people that gain weight from the stress of the divorce. So, it really doesn't just take a toll on you financially. It takes a big toll emotionally and on your health. So it is really important, like when you're doing a divorce, to have the most holistic approach possible. Like my goal isn't just to get you through the legal part. I want you to learn healthy habits, good financial habits, good co-parenting habits, so that you can move forward and start a productive new life and a healthy new life, as opposed to, great, the papers are done, but everything feels like a wreck around you.
Yeah. Well, all right. There's not a lot of celebrity news divorce, not much going on. So move on to the posts online where Emily gives advice to people seeking advice, whether it's after divorce, the life after, or during the process. So let's get into it. You want to see what's going on today?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, here we go. 2 years out, a helpful realization after ex-husband remarries. It's been a while, but I wanted to share something that was super helpful for me since my last post. I moved across the country for my dream job, explored my new city, found an amazing group of single girlfriends, traveled to some of my dream destinations, dated a bunch, and really worked on myself. I'm single, but okay with it, as I have had plenty of healing, growing to do, and I still do. For the most part, things were getting significantly better for me, and I was thinking about my ex-husband less and less until he got engaged and married. It sent me into a tailspin. Feelings of anger, sadness, relief, rejection roared into my life, and my overall day-to-day happiness struggled. COVID obviously didn't help. I started to compare myself to him and felt inadequate, and that was unpartnered and alone. Since I was the one who actually wanted to be married, I felt replaced. I felt like a loser and threw a pity party for myself. Why does he get the happy ending that I wanted?
Well, look, there's no happy endings. Like, you may be perceiving that the other person has a happy ending and you don't, but everybody deals with emotional struggles and pain in a different way. And sometimes you might feel happy or relieved at first and that changes later. Or sometimes you start off not happy, but then you get happy later. So I think that it's important to focus on yourself and your own emotions and what you need to get through something. Don't focus on the other person. What they need is completely different. And, they may not even be showing their true emotions. A lot of people are very good at hiding emotions. And also possibly tricking you into thinking they're doing well when they're not. So focus on yourself and your own wellness and try to not compare it to the other person, because that's not productive or healthy.
Yeah, why would you want to go through marriage again? Okay, here we go. Next post, my situation and a question for all of you. My marriage has been on the brink for several years. Yesterday, my wife informed me that she is done with me again. Yes, again. This is a 6-month pattern. I've officially given up on conceding whatever it is that she is unhappy with. So this is a real deal. As stated before, this is a recurring pattern for us. So we just got to pull the old divorce blueprint out from the last I Hate You episode and go with it. We decided on split custody. That seemed to be the only thing either of us greatly cared about. We are both good parents, no issues here. She's keeping everything, house, it's paid off, furniture, her newer car, you name it, all of it, etc. Receiving about $1,000 in child support a month. I'm keeping all of my debt, which isn't much, half of her debt, also not much. My old feeder, daily driver, my wonderful and loyal black lab, and my clothes. We're hiring a single lawyer to represent us both, simply to save money and avoid the imminent fight that lawyers are so exceptionally at getting their clients into, although I'm sure some ugliness will pop out from time to time. I can't imagine what's left to fight about. Let's see, let's move on here. So here's my question. What was the best thing you found to do when going through a divorce? I'm a high energy person, focused on work. Whenever I'm not with my family, sitting around with nothing to do depresses the hell out of me, especially in times of high stress, anxiety, knowing that my family basically won't be there every other week for the next 14 years. I'm looking for something to do to keep my mind off the utter devastation of loneliness that I know I will be feeling 28 weeks out of the year. Okay, here. So that's it. What happened? What helped? So that's it. What helped you keep your mind healthy? Even if you don't think it would relate to me, I would still love to hear as far as that goes. What did you do that you regretted? And yeah, that's it.
Do and how you're going to occupy your time. I definitely think it's helpful to get a hobby, find something you love doing that you can occupy your time with. Make sure that you have friends you can see, possibly join some support groups to be able to get some emotional support during those times. And you know, find things that you love to do. Many parents didn't have any free time because their kids were there all the time, and now all of a sudden you have this free time, which is actually kind of nice. So I would enjoy it by just finding a hobby that you love that maybe you put on the back burner because you couldn't find time for it, joining a soccer team or whatever it is that you like to do. I definitely think that helps a lot, but you also need to learn how to enjoy being by yourself and having alone time in your own company. And if that's something that you struggle with doing, then that may be the right time to talk to a therapist or somebody that can help you through that difficult time.
Yeah, I just picked up a hobby. I'm into baking now, if you wouldn't believe. Yeah, I made a cake. I don't know, it was supposed to be a yellow cake, but it ended up being like a corner bakery kind of fun cinnamon thing. And then and then I started making my own soda. I don't know if you see the wet stain.
Can't see it.
Yeah, I made my own Red Bull or something. So yeah, I got hobbies. So
those are good hobbies.
Give it a go. Okay. The next one, next post here. Alone in the middle of divorce. I'm in the middle of a divorce, and feel so alone. I live in Texas. We're expecting a hurricane to hit in a day or so. Months ago, my husband of 6 years told me he no longer loved me and wanted out of the marriage. I filed and gave him what he wanted. I'm so hurt and emotionally unstable. I have so much pain weighing on my heart. This year has been tough. I'm self-employed, and due to COVID, my business is extremely slow. A divorce and now a hurricane, and I'm left alone. I'm an introvert and don't have many friends, and the ones I have seem to not care or hear my sorrow story. Thanks for listening. Just needed some virtual hugs.
So I think that's a really hard situation, but that person is not alone. There are so many people that feel the same way with COVID and losing their jobs or their income being down and not being able to see people in person and being very isolated. And you can definitely find groups online that have people going through similar experiences, either through Facebook or support groups online. And I think, that person should really reach out to groups where people are going through similar stuff. I hear very similar stories to that all the time. So I don't think that this is something that should be isolating, because there are a lot of people that she could reach out to be supportive for her in this situation. And also possibly even a therapist could be necessary if she's really feeling that down. But believe me, there are a lot of people feeling the same way right now.
Okay. Here's an interesting one. How to help my partner through their divorce. My partner is going through a dissolution with his ex. He is the one who initiated the separation, yet now he is on a power trip. She refuses to finish signing paperwork. She refuses to communicate with him, fights constantly, won't share info involving the kids that is needed to be known. This has been going on for 7 months, and the only thing that is currently holding it up is her signing the final papers before they're submitted to the court. She's also fought regarding me, and I've offered to meet her, that if see whatever issue she has. I also offered to step away until it's over, as I think maybe she's upset he's not as miserable as she feels he made her. He's worried about giving up and filing for divorce because he's at risk to lose everything. He pays her alimony and child support through, though he is the kids half the time. He could possibly be made to pay more than he can afford, as well as lose the house he lives in. His lawyer has suggested to keep waiting. What can I do? Should I step away, even though he's told me every time that he doesn't want me to do that? Is there any advice I could give him?
That's really hard. I mean, it sounds like his lawyer has a strategy planned, and so I probably would not interfere with that. I mean, this person could always go consult with another lawyer to make sure that lawyer would give the same advice. It's not a bad idea to get second opinions, but it's difficult actually for lawyers when a new partner or spouse or parent kind of like interferes with the process and gives their own advice, because a lot of times that advice is not legal advice. It's just what sounds fair or equitable. And it makes sense that they want to be supportive of their family member, but it may not be something that is doable in the legal system. And then it just causes the person to be upset that their lawyer can't do that for them. So if there's anything that this person can do, it's probably consulting another lawyer to make sure they're on a good strategy.
Okay. Here's an interesting one. It's more financial. How can I avoid liability for my husband's debt? I'm married and reside in the state of Illinois, and my husband has a large amount of credit card debt from gambling and EIDL loan that he has not made any payments on. The loan and all the credit cards are in his name only. We do not own any property jointly, and the only joint account we have is a joint checking account. I have no personal debt. Can I be held responsible for any of his debt, and do I have any protection against debt collectors? I'd like to file for divorce in the near future. Is there anything I should be aware of in terms of filing the petition in judgment to ensure that I will not be responsible for debt incurred during our marriage?
Well, if that person didn't want a divorce, they could do a post-marital agreement that awards all of her husband's debt to him. But if she is planning to divorce, the rule in California is that any debt accrued during the marriage is presumed to be joint. Now, if that debt was for gambling and things that were not community purposes, then she may be able to have a judge award all of that debt to him. The issue is creditors don't always care who it says the debt is awarded to. They will still go after whoever they can. So in our judgments, we typically put an indemnification clause saying that if creditors go after the wrong person, then the person who should have paid the debt has to indemnify the other person. And that's pretty much all we can do to protect against it.
Okay. All right. This is our last post. Our last post of the day has to do, looks like it's a little complicated here with amendments. Ex-husband ignores judge's advice about Fifth Amendment. It ends exactly as you should expect. This is the first time, okay, the first time post. I've been divorced since 2014, but we shared 3 kids, and he's pretty controlling, narcissistic. Skip along here. We have an order of no corporal punishment, no consuming alcohol while we have the kids. Not hard, right? Okay. Let's keep going here. Skip to the hearing yesterday after several withheld visitations and 1 contact to the kids by him. He starts answering questions from my attorney and confirms the alcohol while minimizing it to avoid lying. The judge, I can't talk today. Judge stops him, advises him of his Fifth Amendment rights and that he has a right to not incriminate himself. Asks ex-husband if he wants to keep talking. Ex-husband says, yes, I want to explain it. Goes on to confirm everything in the most minimal way. Okay, so the judge indefinitely suspends his visitation pending his satisfying the court. I get to go to the police department to file criminal charges tonight. Contributing to the delinquency of a minor is a class misdemeanor where I live, up to $6,000 fine and a year in jail. Moral of the story, if you married an abusive person, it is never really over, but sometimes karma lets you watch, and it is spectacular. Also, if the judge suggests you may want to stop talking, take the advice.
Yes, well, that is good advice. You know, you have certain Fifth Amendment rights to remain silent and not testify. And sometimes it is good to use those rights because you may dig yourself into a deeper hole, which it sounds like is what happened in this case. And I've certainly seen that happen. Although sometimes you don't want to take those rights and you do want to talk because you can explain a situation. But it sounds like in this situation, this person really should have taken the Fifth. And, you know, it's also a lesson. Sounds like they didn't have a lawyer. Why having a lawyer can be important, because your lawyer can help guide you as to whether you should testify, not testify, what kind of things to say, what not to say. So, yeah, but it sounds like it pretty much went the way it should have.
It looks like he had a few drinks. Like maybe it was like, yeah, he went a happy hour and shouldn't have.
Not a good idea when you have the kids.
Well, maybe the deal at happy hour was so good. I don't know. So, okay, this is all we have time for today.